Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. My name's Mel. Thank you so much for joining me today for Because We Can Readathon Umbrella Academy Challenge. So this week is the week of the Because We Can Readathon. This is a really fun readathon that is hosted by Jenna from Just a Little Bit Random, Kat from Brews and Reviews, and Kat from Stars and Embers. I will link all of their channels as well as the actual readathon's channel in the description below, so you can go and check all of that information out. So during this week, part of the readathon is that we need to create creative challenges. Today's challenge is based on the Umbrella Academy, and the Umbrella Academy is a TV show where there are 7 random individuals who have been adopted into this family, and they are basically sort of superheroes, but very random. They don't necessarily get along, and it's looking at that among other things. The hosts have decided that today what we're going to do is we're going to select a bunch of different characters from a bunch of different books and say what we think would happen, make our own Umbrella Academy, basically. So it does say in the description of the challenge is to randomize it, so randomly pick 7 books and then 7 characters from those books. So what I've actually done is I have printed out a bunch of different characters' names from a bunch of different books and put them in here. I've got about 20, I think. So I'm going to take 7 out, and that way it can be completely random. So I know who they are, but I won't know which ones I'll get. That's what I'm going to do, and then I'm going to talk about how I think that's going to go. So let's do that. I won't look at them all to begin with, I'll just pull out 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Alright, who have we got? Let's see. Okay, first one is Alex from 9th house. Second one is Ash from Frostheart. Sorry, they're not focusing very well. Third one is Anne Shirley from Anne of Green Gables. Maybe if I get my head out of the way. Don't know how to make it focus. Fourth one is Clary Frey from The Mortal Instruments. Fifth one is Jean Tannen from The Lies of Loch Lamora. Sixth person is Jupiter North from Nevermore. And finally is, oops, dropped it on the floor, so I'm just going to grab another person. Henry from Red, White and Royal Blue. Okay, so we've got Henry, who is the Prince of England from Red, White and Royal Blue, which is contemporary. We have Alex from 9th house. So that is a paranormal dark academia. Then we have Jean Tannen from The Lies of Loch Lamora, which is a dark fantasy, not necessarily grim dark per se, but darkish. Then we have Jupiter North from Nevermore, which is a middle grade fantasy. Then we have Anne Shirley from Anne of Green Gables, which is a middle grade classic contemporary. Then we have Clary Frey from The Mortal Instruments, which is a urban fantasy. And then we have Ash from Frostheart, which is another middle grade fantasy. Okay, so how are these characters going to go together? Okay, so I'm not sure how they would work together, to be honest with you. I think that Clary and Alex would clash because they're both really sort of angsty teens. So Clary is, I think, 16 or 17. Ash is a bit older. She's sort of 18, 19, possibly 20, but still very angsty, still definitely trying to find their way, very much in positions where things are changing, things are very different from what they expect, and they are kind of in a situation that they don't necessarily know how to handle. So I do think that those two would clash quite a lot. Alright, then we have Ash from Frostheart. I think that, yeah, I don't know. I think he'd be okay with those two. I think he'd actually find them kind of annoying now that I've said that. I think he'd kind of be a bit like, come on guys, like, we need to do stuff, let's get it together. Why are we being so angsty? Then we have, now Jupiter North, I think would probably be a good character to have with, well, okay, so because Anne is quite angsty herself, so in the beginning of the book she's about 11, but then obviously throughout the book Anne of Green Gables she does grow up. She's quite angsty, she holds grudges, so I actually think that these 3, Ash, Anne of Green Gables and Clary Frey from, sorry, not Ash, Alex from Ninth House, and Shirley from Anne of Green Gables, and Clary Frey from The Mortal Instruments, I actually think that potentially these three could be really close friends but also clash a lot, be those kind of fiery friends that really, really are like besties but then are like mortal enemies at the same time, or like, you know, depending on the day, because they're all really fiery, really stubborn, really determined characters, but they're also really angsty and have been through a lot, and so are kind of quite traumatized. So I think that they, on a good day, they will work well together, and on a bad day they will work really badly together. But I think that Jupiter North from Nevermore is a very kind of fatherly figure. I think he'd be a good teacher. I think he has a lot of patience. I think that he has a lot of capacity to bring out the best in people. So I actually think that that he would work really well with these three. I think that he would know how to bring out the best in all of their characters, and how to kind of move them away from the more angsty, stubborn side of things and get the best out of their individual personalities, because like I said, they're all very determined, all very intelligent, and I think that he would get those characteristics out of them really, really well. So I actually think that the three girls with Jupiter North would work really well together. Now we have, okay, so then we have Gene Tannen, who I actually think would work really well in there as well. I think that he and Jupiter would work really well together, because Jupiter's very intelligent and very quick and very, like I said, quite a fatherly figure, but he's very bright and very quick and very things on his feet. So in that way, he's quite similar to Locke Lamora from The Lies of Locke Lamora. And Jean and Locke work really well together. So I think that there are characteristics that Jupiter North has that Jean would work well with. He's also very intelligent as well, but he's also kind of the brawn in a lot of situations. So I think that that would work well, because as much as the three girls are very feisty, they don't necessarily have a lot of strength, like physical strength. So Gene Tannen would be really good for that. He would put a lot of strength in there. Now Henry from Red, White and Royal Blue is a difficult one as well, because he also, I think, is quite angsty, but he's also, I'm just trying to remember, it's been a while since I read that book. I feel like there was a lot of angst in it, but actually now that I'm thinking about it, it was probably more from Alex rather than Henry. So Henry's can be quite calm and quite a sort of soothing personality. So I think that potentially that would work quite well with this group. He would actually be kind of a voice of reason with a group of really angsty teenagers. So that could work quite well together. And then Ash. I love Ash. I love his character. I think he's a really sweet little boy who is just trying to do the right thing, is trying to find his parents, and he's trying to figure out what is going on in the world and his place in it. I don't necessarily know that he'd offer anything as like a superhero crime fighting team, but I think that he'd try really hard to do what was required of him, what was asked of him, and I think that he would work really well with Jupiter North and Gene Tannen. Like, he'd actually follow orders really well, and he'd kind of be a really good backup for a lot of the different characters. So yeah, so that's, I think it could work. I actually think this group of people could work quite well together, weirdly enough. So they were Ash from Frostheart, Alex from Ninth House, Henry from Red, White and Royal Blue, Gene Tannen from The Lies of Locke Lamora, Jupiter North from Nevermore, and Shirley from Anne of Green Gables, and Clary Frey from The Mortal Instruments. So yeah, those are my 7 random characters who have formed my Umbrella Academy. I don't know how many of them, apart from Clary, really have superpowers per se, but I think that they would work together quite well, and especially only really if they had Jean and Jupiter North to kind of coordinate things, but with those two I think it would work really well. So yeah, that is my Umbrella Academy, and that's it from me today. Do comment below please and let me know what you would think of that grouping, whether you've done this challenge yourself and what characters you chose and what you thought of those characters. If you haven't done the challenge but you'd like to offer me some suggestions of characters you think would work well or not work well, please comment all that below and let me know as well. If you would like to leave me a comment but you don't know what, then leave me an umbrella, because it's an Umbrella Academy emoji. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I really do hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, I would absolutely love it if you would subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up. And yeah, like I said, thank you so much for watching. I really do hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time.